In this baseball centennial year, today's game from Wrigley Field in Chicago, the Philadelphia Phillies versus the Chicago Cubs. From Wrigley Field, Chicago, this is Kurt Gowdy to call the play-by-play for you. Tony Kubek is standing by, and he's going to be visiting with the Cub manager, Leo DeRocher. The Cubs had a 10.5 game lead earlier this season. The lead now is sliced to 4. They've had a tough week. They lost a tough one yesterday. 4 runs in the 9th inning for the Phillies as the Phillies beat them. Also, the Cardinals are on the move now. The Cardinals have won 9 out of 10. And when you're talking about the pennant race in the Eastern Division, you've got to remember the defending National League champions, the Cardinals, too. It's going to be Jenkins pitching for the Cubs today, Rick Wise for the Phillies. But let's get down and find out more about this exciting East Division pennant race in the National League. And here's Tony.
Thank you, Kurt. Leo, today you've got your stopper going. I know Whitey Ford to our ball club. We knew we were going to get a good ball game pitch. You got Ferguson Jenkins.
Some kind of pitcher, Tony. I mean, this fella here has a fine fastball, a good curve, good slider, good change of pace, and a fine competitor. He's like Whitey Ford was. He comes out there and he believes, and it's the same as Sandy Koufax. When he walks out there, he believes he's going to beat you. That's the kind of a pitcher he is.
Leo, a little while ago we had a tape of the near no-hitter by Tom Severs, and Kirk Gowdy and I were talking to you just a little while ago in your office. You said you never saw anybody throw that hard.
That's outside of Koufax, Herb Score, McDowell at their very best. Have I ever seen anyone come close to Severs on Wednesday night? That's the best I've ever seen him pitch.
We were talking again to Santo and that about the ball club, and there's pressure at this stage, Leo, and the pressure is going to become more intense getting into that second half. How are your players reacting? What are you doing to keep them loose?
Well, you try to keep them loose, Tony. You know that. You've been through this. You try to keep them loose. I'd rather have it now than later. In September, I'd rather have them, but I think they're a little tight now. They're afraid to make a mistake, but they won't make too many mistakes, I don't think, from now on. This is too good a ball club, and I wish that I know the fans here in Chicago are for the ball club. I wish some of the writers would be for them as much as the fans are.
Well, we talked to Ron Sando about that a while ago, and of course, this is the best thing that ever happened to baseball, or one of them, Leo. This town has just gone wild, the bleacher bums and all else, and they've supported this club like nothing else.
Well, of course, I don't say this is the overall picture, Tony, for the writers, but there are some writers who are really picking out little things, and after all, they're Major League ball players, and I think they're going to let off a little steam once in a while, and it doesn't mean that they're enemies or anything else. They will play as a unit, as 25 men, and believe me, they're all friendly on this ball club. There are no enemies here on this club.
A couple articles I read, it made it sound as though you haven't made a right move all year.
Well, that's...
You did something right so far. I know you did.
I know the players are doing it right, and if they can do it right, that's good enough for me.
Leo DeRocher, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I know the umpires are waiting for you up there to bring the lineup cards. Have a good day, and have a good rest of the year.
Thanks, Tony, very much. Nice being with you.
Thank you, Leo. Baseball's Game of the Week will continue from Wrigley Field as the Chicago Cubs meet the Philadelphia Phillies.
Here's the lineup now for the Philadelphia Phillies. At third base will be Tony Taylor. And that is going to be the pitcher in the background for the Chicago Cubs, Ferguson Jenkins. The second base is Cookie Rojas. Larry Heisel's in center field, batting third. First baseman is Rick Joseph. The left fielder is John Briggs. The shortstop is Don Money. The right fielder will be Ron Stone. The catcher is Mike Ryan, batting eighth. And pitching is Rick Wise, 6 wins, 6 losses. The lineup in the batting order for the Philadelphia Phillies. This is a famous bleacher crowd here in Chicago that calls themselves the Bleacher Bums. On the mound, there's Wise warming up for the Phillies, and this is the batting order he's going to face. Don Kessinger will be the shortstop for the Cubs. Glenn Beckert will be at second base. Billy Williams in right field. Ron Santo at third base. Ernie Banks is at first base. Willie Smith in left field. Randy Hundley is the catcher. Jimmy Qualls in center field. And the pitcher is Ferguson Jenkins. Batting order of the Cubs. We've already had the meeting at home plate. Setting up defensively, Ernie Banks at first base for Chicago. Len Beckert's at second. Don Kessinger's the shortstop. Ron Santo at third. Cubs have shaken up their outfield. They have Willie Smith in left field. Put the rookie Jimmy Qualls in center. They benched Don Young. And have moved Billy Williams to right field. He's been playing left field all year. The catcher is Randy Hundley. And Ferguson Jenkins. The strikeout leader of the major leagues is on the mound. He has struck out 150 this year. He's averaged just under 8 strikeouts for every 9 innings. He finished second in the National League the last 2 years in strikeouts. Jim Bunning led the league in '67, and Bob Gibson the leader last year. And this man is the only pitcher in the majors who is a 20-game winner in both '67 and '68, a Canadian. He studies delivery in slow motion. We'll break it down a little bit later on. There's Tony Taylor, who is batting .260. No homers, 12 RBIs for the Phillies. The 1-1 pitch is a bunt pushed by the pitcher. And he's safe. He beats it out. Kissinger made a good play on it, but Taylor beats it out, and he's on.
He did not have a chance. It was an excellent bunt by Taylor. He pushed it right by him.
That's Kissinger. Let me correct myself. Becker charging in from second. Terry Wendell steps at second, and Ken Burkhardt at third. Cookie Rojas batting .246. Field. Back to the mound. To Kissinger for one on the first. Easy double play. The rookie Larry Heisel, who's hitting .274 with 12 homers, 36 RBIs. And Heisel, from the middle of June right now until this game, has been hitting at a .348 clip. The coaches are Billy DeMars at first and George Myatt. Foghorn George over at third for the Phillies. Ball hammered in the left field through the hole. Willie Smith back in with it. So the Phils have had 2 hits, but a double play sandwiched between.
Experienced Kurt, and traveled with the Globetrotters for a while. He's very quick, has a pretty quick move to first base, and he can move around and feel his position very well.
There he goes. And it's a base hit in the left field. Heisel's rounding second, heading for third. And the Phillies have runners on first and third. We had 2 homers yesterday. Briggs batting .212 with 8 homers, 27 runs batted in. Runners on first and third, 2 down. A high fly. Deep left. Willie Smith calling for it. And, oh, he dropped the ball. They collided out there. 2 runs are in, and on the way to third base is Johnny Briggs. With Tony Kubek.
Willie Smith got over on the ball, and he was calling for it all the way. You saw him wave off the center fielder, Qualls. Now watch, he'll have the ball in his glove, and he'll just get nipped by Qualls and knock it off. Remember that the bleacher bums, Kurt, who are the big help in egging these players on, are right in that area behind them in left center field and left field.
Well, the Cubs lost the game against the Mets with a dropped line drive and a fly ball that looped in with Don Young in center field. Well, they really haven't wrapped Jenkins around. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball to second. Beckert throws him out to retire the side. And in the first inning, the Phillies had 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 costly Cub error, and 1 man left. At the end of the first half inning, the score, the Phils 2 and the Cubs coming to... The Phils set up defensively with Rick Joseph at first base. Cookie Rojas at second, standing on the bag. Flanking him is Don Money, the shortstop. And Tony Taylor at third. Johnny Briggs in left field. Larry Heisel in center. Ron Stone in right. Mike Ryan, the catcher. And Rick Wise is the pitcher. This is his first start since June 18th due to military duty. He rejoined the Phillies a few days ago and has pitched once in relief, 2 scoreless innings against the Cardinals on July 8th. He's won 6, he's lost 6, an earned run average of 2.73.
Hitting the ball fairly well, and then he dropped the idea, and they got into the beginning of a season in about May or June, and Leo said, why don't you try switch hitting?
Kissinger set a Major League record a few weeks ago by playing in 54 consecutive errorless games at shortstop.
At second base back.
Big hopper hit to Tony Taylor. And there's one away for the Cubs in the last of the first inning. Since his return, he's hit .378 in the last 11 games. Seasonal average is .305. He has no homers, 16 RBIs.
Kurt Beckert got hit in the head. He got hit in the batting helmet, and they wanted to remove him from the game, but he wouldn't leave.
Right back to the box. 2 down very quickly for the Cubs here in the last of the first inning. Those National League records last Sunday. They had a big day for Billy here, Billy Williams Day. Came through with 5 hits and a doubleheader. There's the drive out into right field. And it is off the glove of Ron Stone. Williams on first. Billy Williams gets a single. Ron Stano has now taken over the leadership of the National League from his teammate Ernie Banks, who was leading most of the year in RBIs. Stano batting .296, 17 homers, 77 RBIs. Armin Killebrew leads the majors in RBIs with 90 already. Right back to the box, a line drive. Stano's out, so are the Cubs. No runs. 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Into the first inning, it's the Phillies 2 and the Cubs nothing. He's acquired by Philadelphia from Baltimore in a trade for catcher Clay Dalrymple in January of '69. There's a strike. Nice pitch. First strikeout. 215 with 9 homers, 34 RBIs. There he is behind the plate. Cubs' outstanding young receiver, Randy Hundley. Pounding ball out to second base. Len Becker to Ernie Banks, and they're 2 down. Today's game of the week being brought to you in living color on NBC, where you see the best in baseball every week. Off Stano's glove, trickling into left field. They're wearing out a spot out there between third and short, those Phillies, with those ground balls. A line drive to Jenkins. Woo, that was good. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of an inning and a half, it's the Phillies 2 and the Cubs nothing.
You know what it was going back out.
So outside of the pitchers right now, you're looking at the oldest player in the major league. Ground ball to shortstop. Don Money takes his time and throws him out, and there's 1 down. 7 homers, 18 RBIs. He used to be a pitcher. They're deep and about 2 steps toward right for Willie Smith. Wise strikes out his first batter.
Him a little bit.
2 down, nobody on. The 3-2 pitch to Hundley. Luke in the right field, may drop in. It's a base hit for Hundley. The ball took a sharp bounce and nearly squirted away from Ron Stone out there in right. Switch hitter. 22 years old. Lives in Pilar, California.
I just said he acquired a lot of polish. He's one example.
There's that base hit to left by Qualls. Slapping it by the third baseman, Tony Taylor. So the Cubs have runners on first and second. 2 down. Jenkins up, 2 down, runners on first and second. The Cubs are trailing 2-0, last of the second. The Cubs lead the Mets by 4, the Cardinals by 10 in the East Division. It's a base hit to right field. Here comes Hundley, the ball booted out of right field by Stone. Going over the third is Qualls. On the board. I guess not.
Well, Hundley was coming all the way. His third base coach, Walker, was waving him on. They were going to challenge the arm of Ron Stone in right field. And
2 balls and no strikes to Kissinger, who bounced to third his first time. There's a line drive hit in the center. Coming in to score is Qualls. Jenkins stops at second. And after 2 out, nobody on, the Cubs have had 4 hits in a row, and they tied the game at 2-2. Jenkins at second, Kissinger at first, 2 away. One ball, 1 strike to Becker.
I guess you'd have to say one of the requirements of a team to be a pennant contender all year long is their ability to bounce back. And this club's doing it right now. They've done it all year long. They've come from behind in ball games. The Tigers did this all last year to win a pennant in the American League.
Ground ball to shortstop. Don Money flips over to Cookie Rojas for the force on Kissinger, and the Cubs are out, but they tied it up. They had 2 runs, 4 hits. There were no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 2, it's the Phillies 2 and the Cubs 2. Ferguson Jenkins sends the fastball in, hit in the air in a shallow right. And it is caught by Billy Williams coming on. Becker going back, lost that ball in the sun. It would have been a very difficult play for him anyway.
Looking over your shoulder, so you put your head down and try and locate the spot where the ball is going to come down. In the meantime, you've got to listen for that outfielder.
North. East. Our Canadian Detroit expert, Jim O'Gorman, said it's east. Ball 4, Heisel's on. Strike 2. Strike 3.
He tried his darndest, but he couldn't ruin those trout, no matter what he ate along with him. Very deceptive pitch. He has good motion with it.
On the move is Heisel. It's topped down to the first baseman, Banks. Makes the tag. Briggs is out, so are the Phillies in the top of the 3rd. We said earlier, the 4th longest consecutive game-playing streak in the history of the Major League. He hasn't missed a game. There's a long drive to deep left center. That one is going, and it is off the top of the wall. Just missed a home run. Williams is rounding second, coming for 3. He hits the dirt, and he's in there with a triple.
That ball at the ballpark. Let's watch Williams again. He'll get the pitch a little bit and head down on the ball. That good, quick sacrifice fly.
Bounces it to third. It's a fair ball. A long throw by Taylor. Wide, and he's safe at first. Holding at third is Williams. Billy Williams stayed at third. They have given a hit to Ron Sano. And that ball in back of the bag at third. Ernie Banks grounded out his first time. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball. It's booted. Everybody's safe. And a run scores. Billy Williams is in, and the Cubs lead 3-2.
The thrower, whether he would have to shuffle it off to Rojas, who would make the pivot. So he had a couple of things on his mind, and I just said he probably took his eye off the ball because the ball wasn't hit hard.
Smith. That one is a home run. A 3-run homer is Leo DeRocher. Congratulates Willie Smith. That's his 8th homer, and RBIs 19, 20, and 21. In Tiger Stadium, they got 6 runs in the first and 5 in the second. They're leading Cleveland now 11-0.
Pitcher on your left for the Phillies is Rayfo. The right was Johnson. 2 right-handers.
Bounding ball to shortstop. 1 away. In the last of the 3rd, and here's Qualls coming up. Grounded to the right side. Rojas handles it, and they're 2 down. Struck him out. The Cubs are retired in the third, but they had 4 runs. 3 hits. 1 error by the Phils, and nobody left. So at the end of 3, it's the Cubs 6 and the Phillies 2. Start and play at least 3 innings. He's been supreme, though, in recent years. They've won 6 in a row. Struck him out. Into right field, up with the ball is the center fielder, Jimmy Qualls. Base hit, Marichal, Clay Carroll, and Bill Singer have each won 12 winners among the pitchers in the Major Leagues, the 4th team. Fly ball to left. Willie Smith gathers it in. There are 2 down. Stone stays at first. Harmon batting .225. Raffle is going to come on to pitch for the Phils in the last of the 4th. Murderous background for a batter on days like this with a white shirt sleeve crowd, the white ball coming out of the white shirts, and tough for the hitter. Dangerous, too. Line drive in the left center. A pinch hit for Harmon. For the order now, and Tony Taylor, who's had a bunt single and line to the pitcher. High fly and a shallow ride. Billy Williams camped under it, puts it away, and that's it. The Phillies in the 4th. No runs, 2 hits. There were no errors, 2 left. At the end of 3.5, it's the Cubs 6 and the Phillies 2. It's more enjoyable for you fans. The other one with the binocs, studying the situation. When you go to a game, if you can keep your own score, I think you'll find a lot of enjoyment when you watch it on TV or listen on the radio. Al Raffo, a big boy, 6'5", weighs 210. 27 years old. He's won 1 and lost 2. This is his 23rd appearance of the year. Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek. And we hope you're enjoying today's game of the week. We'll be in San Francisco next Saturday for the Dodgers and the Giants. Curve, and he's caught looking. 1 out. Hands on an average of once every 34 times at bat. It's hard to strike out. He gets a piece of that ball. The take on 3-1. 1 out, nobody on. Bounces it. Pitcher Raffle makes the play unassisted at first base, and they're 2 down. He moves for a big man, that Raffle. His streak, the longest, of course, in Major League history. And if you think Williams has done a job playing in 909 consecutive games, Lou Gehrig, 2,130 consecutive games.
And we get out there and play a night game, and you get into about that 8th inning of the ball game, and body time, it's actually about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. You wonder why you were a little bit tired.
That's a fair ball. It's booted by the first baseman, Rick Joseph. Went over the bag fair. You saw him feel it in foul territory, but it was fair when it crossed the bag. They're leading 6-2 in the last of the 4th. NBC's game of the week.
There's some hitters, Kurt, that even in the big leagues, that fear getting 2 strikes on them. They think once 2 strikes are on you, I'm dead.
Reached for the outside breaking pitch. Money nearly fumbled that ball up into his chest, but recovered in time for the force on Williams at second. And it's no runs for the Cubs, no hits. There was 1 error, 1 left. At the end of 4, the Cubs 6 and the Phillies. In the 5th inning, Ferguson Jenkins faces Cookie Rojas, Larry Heisel, and Rick Joseph. Cookie Rojas was hit into a double play and flied to right. Quick, 3 on the outside corner. 4 strikeouts for Ferguson Jenkins. Jenkins has pitched 14 complete games. Fly ball to right field. Billy Williams going back and takes it. Okay, he played that ball very peculiar.
Until it comes out and you get a glimpse of it and snatch at it.
2 down, nobody on. Rick Joseph is single and struck out. There's a long drive to deep left. That one is a home run for Rick Joseph. And that makes it now the Cubs 6 and the Phillies 3. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 errors, and nobody left. At the end of 4 1/2, it's the Cubs 6 and the Phillies 3. Banks passed Rogers Hornsby in the 3rd inning of this game with that RBI he came up with. Now he gets hit. There's a pop-up. 3rd baseman Tony Taylor waiting for it. Foul ball, and Banks is out. 1 out. Nobody on. Willie Smith draws a walk. That puts him on. With 1 away, here comes Randy Hundley up, who singled and grounded out. Randy Hundley was second to Johnny Bench in the voting for the catcher, the starting catcher of the National League. Ground ball to Taylor at 3rd. He's got 1 and on over to 1st for the double play around the horn. Taylor to Rojas to Joseph. Last year he was 2nd in innings pitched. Grounded out to shortstop. Kessinger gobbles it up and throws him out. There's 1 away. Last year that Jenkins finished 2nd for the most innings pitched in the National League. Who do you have?
Percentage of games he completes is what always amazes me.
Right to the box. A comebacker and over to 1st with it. Stone is out. 2 down. The 3 Cubs. The Phillies batting in the top of the 6th. A grounder to Kessinger again. And the Phillies are down 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th inning. At the end of 5 1/2, the score, Chicago 6 and Philadelphia 3.
Personally.
Now give it some thought.
Right.
Qualls lines it out to right, and it's trapped out there off the curve. Here comes Qualls for 2nd. They've got the ball waiting for him. He's out.
Both of them. But you'll see how quickly he recovers, and Qualls was going full speed all the way. Stone's going to have to pick him off the ground very quickly. Makes a very accurate throw from almost his knees. Watch this hard slide by Qualls coming in. You think the Cubs don't see a little bit of that money curve. Look at the way they're playing. They're running those base paths, taking those chances.
They get 5 extra base hits in a game, and he's here the opposite field. And he used to say no, he would ruin his swing by doing it. Strike 3, Jenkins is out. 2 down. And he thought that was his natural way to hit if he changed up.
I recall my first year in the American League in 1957. We had a
3. That's quite a record. 5 extra base hits in 1 game. There's a looper in the left. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Briggs is chasing it. He can't come up with it. And Kessinger's in the 2nd with a double. 3. And with 2 down, Kessinger on 2nd here in the last of the 6th inning. Straight away for him. Down to the shortstop. Throw to 3rd. That was a funny play. 2 down, and he threw to 3rd base.
Kurt, I have a hunch Beckert did not hit the ball well. He broke the bat on the play. The only thing that could have happened is that the shortstop, Don Money, forgot that there were 2 outs. Otherwise, he's got the easy play at first base. There was a mental lapse on Money's part. Once again, with Billy Williams up, the Cubs got some going.
First pitch hitting in this game. Cubs 6-3. Threatening again, runners on 1st and 3rd, 2 away. There's a base hit to left. Coming in to score is Kessinger. And once again, a Philly mistake has opened the gates for the Cubs, and they lead now 7-3. Ernie Banks on deck. Rounder to 3rd. It'll be a tough play. Taylor comes up with it beautifully and throws him out to retire the side. And we've gone now 6 innings with the score, the Cubs 7 and the Phillies 3. 5. Jim Perry for the Twins. There's a line shot to left. That is going to be a base hit in front of Willie Smith. Kansas City 6, the White Sox nothing into 5 1/2. Horlin against Rooker. Kirkpatrick homered.
Disableist, dislocated shoulder. Darren Johnson was missing for 3 weeks. A good power hitter with a pulled hamstring.
Fly ball to Billy Williams. Backs up, and he lets it get over his head. He lost the ball in the sun. He was trying to get those sunglasses down. Barry goes to 3rd, and the 2nd base is Taylor. He was fighting to get his sunglasses down on the way out.
Ball in the sun, couldn't recover because the ball got over his head so quickly.
Fly ball down the left field line. Willie Smith's over there. Tagging at 3rd is Barry. The throw's coming in to 3rd base. Barry scores at 7-4 Chicago. Sacrifice fly for Cookie Rojas. Leo DeRocher. A man his age, he's in remarkable shape. Strike 3. Fastball pumped in by Ferguson Jenkins. A single, struck out, and hit a home run. 2 out of 3. 2 down. Tony Taylor at second.
Phil Regan, the right-hander.
Right. The left-hander.
Is that Rich Nye? Looked like it.
Strike 3 and Joseph's out. As Jenkins struck out Heisel and Joseph to end the 7th. 1 run, 1 hit for the Phillies. There were no errors. 1 run, 2 hits. There were no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 6 1/2, it's the Cubs 7 and the Phillies 4. Rick Joseph have left the game. Ernie Banks. Ground ball, great stop by Taylor. A long throw, and it's there in time. That's the play of the ball game so far. By Tony Taylor, the third baseman of the Phillies.
You know, this Cubs bench has helped them a lot this year, Kurt. Here's a fellow that wasn't expected to play this season except in pinch hitting. Al Spangler had a good start for them, played the outfield, was real hot at the beginning of the season.
Mostly as a starter this year. He's had 14 starts. Big hopper out to second baseman, Rojas. Easy play for him, and they're 2 down. And Randy Hundley is up. He's singled, grounded out, and hit into a double play. On deck is Jimmy Qualls. Struck him out, and the Cubs are out 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. At the end of 7, it's the Cubs 7 and the Phillies 4. Regan, the right-hander. Rich Nye, the left-hander. John Money will be on deck, and then Stone. And that's the first man that Jenkins has walked. It's hot here. There's a pop foul. Hundley waiting for it. 1 away. Jenkins is rough in this ballpark. He has led the National League pitchers in victories at home the last 2 years. There's a base hit to right. Hickman's gun in the game in right field, comes up with it, fires to second. The Phillies have runners on first and second, 1 away. And DeRocher's coming out now to talk to Jenkins.
Says, I can still throw the ball.
And he's going to switch. He's asking for Regan. DeRocher's decided on this hot day Jenkins is tired, and he's going to remove him. So there's a break in the action here at Wrigley Field, Chicago. The score, the Chicago Cubs 7 and the Philadelphia Phillies 4. Bryan batting .213. Look at him up in that bat handle. The player and manager all his life, he's been that way. He's sharp. There's a ground ball to second. Becker to Kissinger for 1, over to first. Double play. And Regan comes in and bails him out on the top of the 8th. Ball's a single, grounded out and single. Line drive. Caught by the shortstop. Soft liner out there, and there's 1 out. For autographing. Tomorrow will be 3 more Cubs. And that's to accommodate the fans. They all can't do it at once, but they pick out 3 each day to do it here in their own ballpark. Bill Regan up for his first time. The Phillies' last chance in their 9th inning. We'll have Darren Johnson, Tony Taylor, and Whitney Rojas up. Pounding ball to Tony Taylor at third. There are 2 down. Kissinger, .296 average. 2-2 count. 2 down, nobody on. Line drive to left. 3rd hit for Kissinger. In Chicago, a threat of rain. Chicago 7. Phillies 4. He pops it up. Going out is Rojas. He was calling for it all the way, and the Cubs are out of the last of the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, 1 left. At the end of 8, the score is the Cubs 7 and the Phillies 4. In fact, the Cardinals have just won. They beat the Pirates 6-3. A pop-up by Darren Johnson. Kissinger under it. 1 out. Those Cardinals, they have never gelled this year. They just couldn't get a good streak going. They've got one going now. They have now won 10 of their last 11. He was the Tigers, went with the Dodgers, did a great job. They let him go. He's come here to the Cubs and done quite a job. Ball's fair down the first baseline. Jim Hickman playing it off the wall. Taylor's in the second base with a double. His 3rd hit of the game. Cloud now moving overhead, and you can sniff it. Cookie Rojas hitless in 4 times. And the tying run will now come to the plate for the Phillies. Tony Taylor's at second, Cookie Rojas at first, 1 out. Ground ball. He's got 1. That's all. Kissinger with a good range that time, keeping that ball from going up the middle. Seven to 4 Cubs, 2 away now for the Phillies in the 9th. They're down to their last out. Runners on first and third, 2 away. Fly ball to right. Jim Hickman waiting. And the game is over. Chicago has defeated the Phillies. In the 9th inning, no runs for the Phils. 1 hit, there were no errors, and 2 men left. Again, the final score, the Chicago Cubs 7 and the Philadelphia Phils 4. Cubs actually won this game in the 3rd inning with a 4-run outburst featured by a 3-run homer by Willie Smith. The winning pitcher, Ferguson Jenkins, has now won 12 and lost 6, and the loser, Rick Wise, has won 6 and lost 7.